And welcome here to halftime of tonight's contest where we're doing the Cyclone Touchdown Club Senior Spotlight. We're joined by number 70, Dylan McDuffie, and number 78, Sam Bowers. Both of them are sporting a 3.8 GPA, first and foremost, guys. We've said for the others we've interviewed, that's the most important thing. And as a parent, we appreciate the hard work and dedication that you put into schoolwork, plus on the football field. We appreciate that. Now, going into tonight's contest, coming off a hard-fought loss last week to Boone. You go back and you look at Science Hill, then you look at Greenville, then you look at the Boone. Offensively, it seems like went from a half a step away to a quarter of a step to an eighth of a step. We're getting so close. It seemed like one play could be the change in volume. How do you all feel? Sam, I'll start with you. Am I just feeling that wrong, or is that the feeling that you get?
Well, I kind of felt like we took a huge step from the first two games to this one, to this last game against Boone. I felt like we moved the ball more on the ground. I know that with our first two, that was our real emphasis that we really struggled at, was on the ground. And just like Coach Witten's pointed out so many times, our philosophy is running the ball. Our philosophy is fighting for five, like Coach Whitehead and Coach Pierce say all the time. You've got to get that 5 yards. You've got to, on first down, you've got to get ahead of the chains. You've got to get it at least first and 6 or second and 6. You've got to stay ahead. And I felt like with this game, that gave us a lot more momentum, moving the ball. Now, even though we didn't score, there was still a lot of things that I felt like we really improved on. I felt like we really improved on our outside zone. We worked on that a whole lot. And I felt like we got our inside zones a lot better with running up the middle.
All right, Duff, what do you think?
I feel like going from the first 2 weeks to last week, we've made a lot of improvements running the ball, especially zones, like both tops of zones, outside and inside zones. And I feel as though like we just got to put the ball in the end zone one time, and we'll really start moving, and it'll just be one after another. We'll just start scoring. I feel like we're just in a slump right now, and I feel like the O-line, we just got to come together, and we just got to get in the end zone one time on Friday night and make sure we get it going.
Yeah, it seems like to me and Stacey's talked about it, from the outside looking in, it seemed like we're pressing just a little bit. When you start pressing, then you start putting too much pressure on yourself, and then that's when you start making a little mental mistake here. And that's what it seemed like, and I've said, once the dam breaks and gets that little hole in it, it's over. Now, both of you have been coached 4 years by Coach Pierce. Coach Pierce may be the smartest teacher in the whole Elizabethton City school system. How is it that what have you learned in the last 4 years by being under Coach Pierce?
Like you said, Tony, he's just such a knowledgeable person, and just to be in the presence of him, you're going to learn something. You can't be around him and not pick up something. You have to always keep your ears open and always be listening to what he's saying, because he's a walking around dictionary. I mean, he knows everything. And that's not just book smarts. I mean, he knows his football, and Coach Pierce really always emphasizes the nastiness. Like, you can preach the technique all you want. You can teach how to do this, how to take this step, but you've just got to have that certain edge about you with being an offensive lineman, that you're just going to make the other guy's night hard, that you're going to give it to them every single play. And I feel like that's what we need to really embrace a little bit more as an offensive line, to really take us to the next level, to get us to scoring, to get us to stuff like that. So
Yeah, you can be a nice guy off the field, but once you cross that line, it's got to flip. And when that switch flips and you get nasty, you get a little bit of dog in you, then you make Coach Pierce happy and get things turned around. All right, Duff, what about you? What's Coach Pierce? What have you learned from him?
Coach Pierce is, for 4 years, he's taught us that you can't do anything without hard work. That's in the classroom and out on the field. And he doesn't really emphasize on technique and stuff like that as much as Coach Whitehead would, which is a good thing too. But Coach Pierce really focuses on like however you got to get it done, you just got to get it done, no matter how you do it, really.
Like Dylan was saying, Pierce has always said, you can take the right steps, but there's going to be a time when you're not going to. There's going to be a time in the game where you're going to mess up, but all that can be fixed with just your effort and just going and just putting your hands on somebody and just finding something to do, somebody to hit.
Let me pick up on Tony's question a little bit. And he's right. Coach Pierce may be the smartest person in the whole town, not just in the Elizabethton City School System. I know you've learned a lot from them, but what have you learned about, y'all played a lot of football in your 4 years here at Elizabethton High School, played behind some of the, and with some of the best offensive linemen to ever come through here. And just last year, you know, you got Connor, you got Cole Morgenstern, you got Big West before that, you got Colby Garland coming through. What did you learn from the guys that came before you on the offensive line?
I feel like with your people like Cole Morgenstern and Colby and Owen, people like that, you've got to put in the work. You've got to, it's a day-to-day grind. You can't just show up on Friday nights and expect to win the games. You've got to put in the hard work throughout the week. It's your Monday through Wednesday that wins you the games. You win the games throughout the week. You don't win the games on Friday. If you don't prepare yourself throughout the week, and if you don't carry yourself like you need to and have that mental preparation and that mental focus, then you're just not going to be able to get it done. And you've got to really focus on that.
Dylan, what about you?
Just like Sam said, it's all about their work ethic. That's not even just on the field. Like even in the weight room, they're going every day. They're going hard in the weight room every day. And when they come on Monday, they're ready to work. They took no days off when they were here. And I feel like they really like raised the bar while they were here. And I feel like us as a group, we got to raise the bar together. Like we got to come together and make like we got to. They started a legacy, and we got to continue the legacy that they started.
And that's what I'm going to follow up with, and I'll let you pick that up. They're not there in front of you anymore. They're not there beside of you. It's you as the seniors now. And you've said it all along. The Cyclone offense has always been, we're going to run the ball first, and we do everything from that. What kind of pressure do you all feel now as the ones that people are looking up to and the one to carry on that tradition? Dylan, we'll start with you on this one.
Well,
So you don't piggyback Sam's answer.
well, the O-line is probably the most important position on the field. And I would say if the O-line's not doing good, the whole team's not going to be doing good, because the O-line's where it all starts, running and passing. And you have to run the ball before you got to be able to throw the ball. And we've not really been able to run the ball too good this year. And then that's hard for because we've had new quarterbacks this year. It's hard for them to build up the confidence to throw the ball if they have to run the ball like every play and stuff like that. But
Sam?
Well, it's really big shoes to fill. I mean, you had Cole Morgenstern going to ETSU. You had Wes Irwin going to Greensboro. You had Colby that went to Tusculum. I mean, it's just, you feel the pressure of the shoes that you have to fill, but you also have to embrace the fact of, this is me now. And like you said, they're not here no more. So I've got to be them. I've got to have the leadership skills that they had. I've got to pick the younger guys up and get the younger guys that are on the scout teams and things like that, just like we were when we were freshmen and sophomores. You've got to pick them up to make them better. That was always so emphasized to us when we were freshmen and sophomores. Like, just because we're winning state championships and you're not playing doesn't mean that you didn't have a big part in winning that. You made the guys better throughout the week to where they were more prepared for the game, and when the game time came, it was easier than having it in practice. You've got to make practice harder than a game, so when you get in there, you can make those perfections. You can not make the little mental errors like Tony was talking about. Your false starts, you're taking the wrong steps, running the wrong place, things like that. So I feel that we've just got to step up, and we've got to really fill those shoes to the best of our ability.
Let's talk a little bit about the game against Granger County. What are you expecting to see on their defense tonight? And what do y'all think you're going to do different this week than maybe you didn't do in the first couple of games or even the first 3 games?
well, they play a 3 down front, and they have very good get-offs, and I feel like we're going to be able to run the ball a lot better on them because of the setup of their defense that they have, because they don't feel the box as much as like Greenville and Boone and Sonsville and them do, and I feel like we're going to be able to hit the ball like on both tops of zones a lot more than we were against against Boone's box defense, because they play like a 4-4, and that's a hard defense. And we move the ball good against Boone too, but that's a harder defense to run the any type of zone on, and I feel like we're going to hit some big plays on zones this week.
They're a very scrappy team. All 4 years that I've been here, they've always been the kind of guys that they're gonna hit you every play. They're gonna have, like Dylan said, good get-offs. They're not gonna go down without a fight. You've got to punish them because they won't go away. You've got to really give it to them because, like I said, they're very scrappy. They might not be the biggest guys you're going to go up against, but they're going to be the toughest guys you're going to go up against mentally and things like that. But like Dylan said, I feel that we can get it up the middle more because they do run that 3 down front with 2 linebackers, 2 middle linebackers. They don't pack the box in like an 8-man box like Boone does. They've got more of like a 6-man box. Passing should be a good option. I know we've looked at doing some RPOs and things like that this week to kind of draw them linebackers in to where we can get it out there and give our younger quarterbacks, inexperienced quarterbacks, some more confidence in being able to throw the ball and getting it downfield and things like that.
I'll finish with this. As an old offensive lineman, when you're winning games, nobody knows who you are. When you're losing games, you get all the blame. I think you both hit a nail on the head. For the last 3 weeks, for half of the Science Hill game and all of the Greenville game and all last week, they just didn't put 8 people in the box. You almost had 8 people on the line of scrimmage every single play. It's hard to block 8 with 5, so you all have had a difficult time. You actually outgained Boone last week on offense. So, Sam, you remember one thing Coach Ryder used to tell us: the only shoes you have to fill are your own. Okay, and you fill those shoes. It's what's best for you. That's what you got to do. Guys, we wish you all the best of luck against Granger County this week. And more importantly, we thank you for the work that you put in these 4 years as being a Cyclone and the work you put in your classroom. I know that means the world to Coach Pierce. It also means the most to your family and your mom and dad. We appreciate you and very proud of y'all to be a symbol of what it means to be a Cyclone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for our senior spotlight brought to you by the Cyclone Touchdown Club. We're going to hear a word from our sponsors, and when we come back, Tony and I will have the second half of this big contest tonight as the Elizabethan Cyclones entertain the Granger Grizzlies. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors on WBEJ Radio. Good job, guys.